The following is a full, detailed, and youth-appropriate lesson on female ghusl for ages 13 plus, written with modesty, clarity, and dignity. What is ghusl? Ghusl is full-body purification required after major impurity, janaba. It is an act of worship, not merely washing the body. Prayer and other acts of worship are not valid when ghusl is required and not performed. Ghusl becomes obligatory after sexual intercourse. This ruling applies to both men and women. Ghusl is required even if no fluid is released. The Prophet ﷺ said, when the two private parts meet, ghusl becomes obligatory. Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Ghusl also becomes obligatory after ejaculation, whether awake or asleep. This ruling applies to both men and women. As young Muslims grow, there are times when the body releases a fluid through the private parts. Islam teaches that when this occurs, whether during sleep or while awake, ghusl is required before prayer. This ruling is taught so that worship is done correctly, not to cause embarrassment. When does ghusl become obligatory for females? For females, ghusl becomes obligatory in the following situations. Ghusl becomes obligatory after menstruation ends. When menstrual bleeding has completely stopped, ghusl is required before prayer. The Prophet ﷺ said, when the menstruation ends, perform ghusl and then pray. Sahih Muslim. Prayer is not permitted until ghusl is performed. This ruling is clear and direct. It is taught so worship is done correctly, not to cause discomfort. Ghusl also becomes obligatory after postnatal bleeding ends. When postnatal bleeding has fully stopped, ghusl becomes obligatory before returning to prayer. This ruling is established in the Sahih Sunnah and understood by the Salaf. What makes female ghusl valid? According to the understanding of the Salaf, ghusl has only two obligatory requirements. 1. Intention, niyyah. The intention is made in the heart. It is not spoken out loud. The intention is simply to remove major impurity. 2. Water reaches the entire body, including all skin and the scalp. No part of the body should be left dry. Important principle. Hadith of Aisha. Detailed method. A woman asked the Prophet ﷺ about ghusl after menstruation. He said, "Take water mixed with lotus leaves and cleanse yourself thoroughly. Then pour water over your head and rub it so that it reaches the roots of the hair. Then pour water over the rest of your body." She asked further, and the Prophet ﷺ said, "Take a piece of cloth scented with musk and purify yourself with it." Aisha then explained privately, "Use it to clean the traces of blood." Washing the entire body is required. Water must reach the roots of the hair. Hair does not need to be undone unless water cannot reach the scalp. Cleaning the traces of menstruation is part of completion, done with modesty. Hadith on hair not needing to be unbraided. Salama said, "I said, O Messenger of Allah, I am a woman who keeps her hair tightly braided. Do I need to undo it for ghusl?" He said, "No. It is sufficient for you to pour 3 handfuls of water over your head, then pour water over the rest of your body." Reported in Sahih Muslim. Women do not have to undo braids for ghusl. As long as water reaches the scalp, the ghusl is valid. Summary. Make intention for ghusl. Wash the entire body so no area is left dry. Ensure water reaches the scalp. Clean menstrual traces respectfully. Braids do not need to be undone unless necessary. Sunnah method of ghusl, as taught by the Prophet. The Sunnah method of ghusl was described by Aisha. She said, "When the Messenger of Allah performed ghusl, he washed his hands, washed the private area, performed wudu, poured water over his head, and then washed the rest of his body." Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Sunnah steps of ghusl, in order. This ruling applies to both men and women. Intention in the heart, washing the hands, washing the private area, performing wudu, pouring water over the head, washing the rest of the body. This method perfects ghusl but is not required for validity.